I'm Donna.
And I'm Bruce, and this is Lyrical Wisdom.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Lyrical Wisdom, where we dive into song lyrics and offer heart-based wisdom through our interpretations. If you enjoy what you're hearing, don't forget you can catch every episode of Lyrical Wisdom on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more.
You can also find us on YouTube. Just search Lyrical Wisdom Show. Do you have a song you'd like to hear us shed some light on? You can email us requests, questions, comments to lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. That's lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on a YouTube video. We'd really love to hear from you. And all requests get an episode and a shout out.
So join us every Tuesday and Friday as we dig deep and deliver our wisdom. And thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing to Lyrical Wisdom.
Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Donna.
How are you this one fine day?
I am living another day in paradise. Thank you very much. How are you?
I, too, am living another day in paradise.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
And I hope each
Awesome.
and every one of you are, too. Remember, you do make your paradise.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
We're all so wonderfully creative in that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Co-creators with the divine. And my
Oh, yeah.
paradise is so divine.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I am, I am really, really happy to see the sun out today. The leaves are changing. It's that time of year when the weather stops dropping below what you kind of feel comfortable in. So you're starting to wear more clothes, when you go outside, putting on the winter woolies, as I guess they might say. With the change in the yellows and the oranges and the reds, all the leaves are coming down, and it's so much fun to clean them up. But oh my gosh, that sun looks beautiful out there.
Oh, it's so beautiful, Bruce. And I'm still in the South, and I don't know if you heard, but down here, whoa, baby, we got a little bit of cold last night and the night before and the night before.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, it was quite a shock to the system, but I'm glad it happened because it was like, okay, remember this? It's what's
Yes,
coming.
absolutely.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we're expecting 70 degrees by the end of the week again. So,
No, I
yeah,
hear you, because I know the weather is it's kind of up and down right now, but I just love the way the sun is shining. It is definitely not creating some sort of like darkness in the sky, maybe like a black hole. That's for sure. It is
yeah,
shining bright. It is shining
yeah,
bright. And yeah, I love it. And yeah, it's that, that's the one thing I can't help it but love the colors of the trees and the leaves and their whole, you know, process of winter into spring, the kind of like shedding and then the rebirth. It's all so beautiful. And so
hmm
that's one thing that I'm grateful for.
yeah.
And yeah, I
That
am
dark
grateful.
sky you're talking about, a lot of people look at that and they think ominous or,
They do.
danger, danger.
It is.
Snow is coming, rain is coming. It's like, yes, yeah,
Well, there is a very popular show that came out a few years ago that kept saying winter is coming as something that
yes.
was, as a kind of a, not the best outcome in the future. But
Right.
I would have to say, it can feel that way. I was looking at the time, and where I am up here in the Midwest is like we get dark at like 6:30 at night now. And it's going to get, sooner and sooner. And I just going to be like, okay, that's what winter has to do. Sometimes we have to have a dark sky above our heads, and the sun is basically in the dark night sky. It's like a black hole out there somewhere
Yeah.
that we can't see because we can't see it. All we can see is the moon.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I love about how the moon is that like you think about the moon is, it only shows you the portion that isn't like, isn't being blocked and where the sun is reflecting. Boy, that's a great translation there. If any of you guys got that, but but you know what I mean. It's like we
Yeah.
see where the sun is reflecting off the moon, so the part that we don't see is like a black hole up there. I just
Yeah.
thought of that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That is
So
so true. Yeah. And what a great hint, Bruce. Thank you. Welcome, each and every one of you. Thank you so much. We do really, really appreciate you tuning in with us here at Lyrical Wisdom. And we do want to remind you that we would love to get your requests of songs that you would like for us to do here on our show. And remember that we have a song list for you, so you can also listen to these songs while you're driving, while you're cleaning a house, while you're living your life. Enjoy the music that you've heard us talk about. So we created a playlist for you, and the playlist is on.
it's on Spotify, isn't it?
Yes, on Spotify.
I got the
Lyrical
test right.
Wisdom
Ding, ding, ding,
songs.
ding.
Yes. So remember, check it out, y'all. And do please leave us a comment on YouTube, on whatever it is that you're watching or listening to these episodes on. Let us know how we're doing because we appreciate you and we love your feedback.
We do. I was just going to chime in. Thank you, Donna. That if you hear something, and periodically you may hear Donna say, let us know what you think about this in the middle of one of the times that we're talking about the songs. And we would love it if you would. If you find something that just sparks your interest or turns on that curiosity, and suddenly you're just kind of itching to say, hey, you know what? I just thought this. What do you guys think of this? Bring it on. Bounce it off our noggins, if you will, and we'll just we would love to have that conversation in the
Yeah.
only way that we
In a
can.
future episode. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Today,
absolutely.
though, we have something wonderful and
We do.
exciting for you
We
because I
do.
believe this band is in the spotlight right now. Right, Bruce?
They are very much in the spotlight. They were just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Am I correct? I want to make sure I'm correct.
Yeah, that is
Yes,
like, that's big.
that is
That is big.
huge. That is huge. And the thing is they are also the kind of the big one of the a big portion of the beginning wave of a certain music kind of genre. They came at a time and became popular at a time with a large group of friends that kind of pushed this kind of style of music into the spotlight more and more and made it very digestible for the kind of common people out there, if you will.
I love the way you use that word, Bruce, because the name of the genre is grunge.
Yeah.
And so most people think when they think of grunge, it doesn't sound very appetizing. However,
No.
you said that this band made it very digestible. I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah, we've done songs by other bands that, I feel like they were able to do the same thing. They were just pursuing what they wanted to pursue. And in doing that, they wrote songs that a lot of us could appreciate. Some of their music, maybe we didn't quite resonate with quite to the same degree as some of their really diehard fans. And I think we all understand that, sometimes there's songs that bands write that we're like, oh, you kind of get that feeling like they might have like kind of made that for the general population. Well, I think they write music that they want to sing and play. And so I would say that, this band is one of them. They were just doing great music. And it was at a time when that wave was coming into shore and they wrote it. And
Yeah.
yeah, they really nailed it. They got inducted into the Hall of Fame and, they're really deserving of that honor.
I
So
think maybe we should let everyone get off their pins and needles
get right into it.
and get
Yes.
right into it.
I'm very very happy to read for you today Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden.
Congratulations, Soundgarden.
Yes, congratulations. In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows, hides a face, lies the snake, and the sun in my disgrace. Boiling heat, summer stench, 'neath the black the sky looks dead. Call my name through the cream, and I'll hear you scream again. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Stuttering, cold and damp, steal the warm wind tired friend. Times are gone for honest men, sometimes far too long for snakes. In my shoes, walking sleep, in my youth I pray to keep. Heaven send hell away. No one sings like you anymore. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Hang my head, drown in fear, till you all just disappear. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come?
That is so awesome, Bruce. And I think you probably just did that from memory.
I kind of did.
Wow. Yeah.
I can remember listening to this song on the album, and he actually repeats Black Hole Sun a lot. He'll say
Yeah.
Black Hole Sun, Black Hole Sun, Black Hole Sun, Black Hole, and it's
Won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it really kind of strikes. And I've actually also heard them sing yeah, play this live. I was lucky enough to be at a Soundgarden concert at the Sunrise Musical Theater in
Wow.
the Fort Lauderdale area of Florida, and I watched them play there. And I yeah, I'll never forget that experience. Seeing Kim Thale stand up on a speaker and play his guitar. I'm not going to lie, it was it was incredible. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love this song. The uh, the way the song begins is fascinating to me. This whole song is
Hmm.
fascinating to me. And I admitted to you before we did the show, everybody out there, I was talking to Donna about the fact that I've listened to this song over and over again in my life because I love it so much. I have such a love for Soundgarden as a band. And that was a big part of the time that I really embraced music was during the time that they were playing this album and doing tributes to other members or of bands that they knew. But I love how this song begins. In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises, no one knows. And it goes on to
Right.
kind of describe it. And it takes it's kind of like a I don't want to say like it's a code, but I'm gonna say that like it's a broken kind of sentence, if you will. And you know, you could put in my eyes and indisposed in the same line, but it's very specifically sung and written so that it's separated, so that they can each have their impact. And I love
Yes.
that.
Because they're three separate to me, three separate ways of being almost.
Yeah.
Because, when a lot of times people speak and when they are going against the grain or whatever, they'll say, well, in my eyes, it's like a statement to say, this is the way I am seeing things. It's
Yes.
very, to me, it's very personal, very, this is what my eyes are seeing,
Yeah. No, I'm
whatever it
actually,
is.
yes, that really, that strikes a perfect chord inside of me that I agree because he really makes a point of hitting you with that right off the bat. It's
Right.
in my eyes and
Yeah.
then indisposed.
I mean,
And
how many people do you like you're talking to them and they're just indisposed? Do you know what I'm trying to
yes,
say? I mean, that's
oh,
what he's
yeah,
saying is that you can look around and you can see things that just they're not available. They're just shut off to the world, shut off to
yeah,
one another. They're just indisposed. They don't,
yes,
they're not available.
it's flat. And
Yeah.
it's, I used to kind of laugh because when when you think of an actor or an actress or somebody like that, they have to really pretend what they are saying to people, and so they get to be very dramatic with their acting. But you can really tell the difference between somebody who isn't an actor who's talking to you, if they have, if they just are not quite as dramatic with all of their movements and all of their reactions. And you can also see how somebody could just be not there, indisposed completely. And then it goes on to say, in disguises, no one knows. And I love that because there, there's a way of looking at certain things. And I like to borrow this from a book that I read called The Tao of Pooh.
Oh, I
And
love
it's
that book.
I do
Allie
too. I
gave
do
it to
too.
me.
It's it's a great book, but it talks about trying to be like a, or not trying, but to kind of have this vision of being an uncarved block. And so I like to think of that sometimes as how I hopefully wear my face, and not in a disguise that no one knows, but just in a way that's an uncarved block so that it can become whatever it becomes that day. No
Yeah.
expectations on that, just kind of it can become whatever unfolds. And so, I don't know necessarily if that's really what Chris Cornell was saying right in this moment, but I can say that it seems like in disguises, no one knows means that the indisposed part, that's like, what do we have? We only have that. So it's got to be something that is very neutral, got to be like completely neutral, like, you know, not necessarily off putting at all. It's just like a disguise that's no one's aware of, you know?
I was going to say, yeah, no one knows. I mean, in disguises, no one knows. It's like, oh, it's almost like I'm hearing the word secret agent. In
Yeah.
other words, you're being something that you know you're not, and but yet everyone else doesn't know that you're not. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because it can blend in. It can really blend into the way that I think is how this develops. I'm glad that you said that because that really syncs with what I'm thinking here, because the indisposed in disguises no one knows, hides the face, lies the snake. And so I think that's where it's going, is it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you could hide
Hmm.
because it's blending in. Nobody recognizes it. Nobody has anything to worry about, whatever. It can be
Yeah.
bland. It could be like freaked out. It could be whatever it is, but nobody really recognizes it. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, and it says hides the face. And that's,
Yeah.
hides the face, lies the snake. And I think of like some people have, well, there is a phrase, I think, snake in the grass. And so,
Yes.
I think that, we can maybe take a little bit of like that idea that like, well, we don't know what's behind that face because it's hide, and then lies the snake kind of in its own camouflage, if you will. Um, and then it says, and the sun in my disgrace. And that's like where that kind of phrase ends.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking that like, and the sun in my disgrace in a way, because of how we look at how things get shine the light on it,
Yeah.
and it's exposing, and especially
Yeah.
the sun. The sun has a wonderful, beautiful way of cleansing and purifying and doing all these amazing things, not just because it burns things, but because it like cleans things with the light. And
Hmm.
so I really feel like that's kind of one of those other things is it shines a light. And
Hmm.
so, and the sun in my disgrace is like a perfect way to rhyme the word face and also disgrace. And then it fits together with the fact that then the sun comes up, you know, and that's
Yeah.
kind of the way it kind of sometimes feels when we're exposed.
Right. I it's interesting because for me, this is like, I believe he's talking about just life, people in general, in my eyes and indisposed and in disguises, hides this person's hiding their face, he's just talking about the world, people in general, hides the face. How many times have you been told to put on a happy face or, you
Yes.
hide that hurt because you don't want anyone to ask you about it, and you just kind of smile and you hide what you're really feeling. And lies the snake. For me, yes, the snake in the grass. And also, a lot of people, when they think about snake, they go all the way back to Adam and Eve and
Yes. Yeah.
and that snake, being the opposite of what we call good, and the snake is what people think is the temptation, the
Yeah.
tempter, the
Yeah.
person, that makes you do bad or whatever. And in the sun, and the sun in my disgrace. In other words, for the first time, I believe he is introducing himself by saying the sun is shining a light on my disgrace. In other words, there's all these people that are indisposed, hiding their face, wearing disguises, but guess what? The sun is shining a light on my disgrace.
Yeah. No, that's, oh my gosh, I
I'm
feel like
just like all of you. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like you really just nailed it and pulled it all together because I feel like that's where we were going. And then Donna, you did a beautiful job of wrapping that up in a nice, beautiful way because I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I do think that it's kind of a general comment in the way, it's just like this is such a beautiful ballad. And so this song is sung already in a way that's, slower. And so it doesn't have like a happy kind of jaunting kind of beat to it or, like
Mm-hmm.
something to that effect. It's a ballad and it's slower. And so it's got a very dramatic kind of feel to it. And so I think that the way that that rolls across can sound a little bit more dramatic than just having kind of a comment on the kind of general malaise, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and or his and the way he kind of introduces himself, like you just said. I think that hits the nail right on the head. Um,
And
and
he introduced the sun to us.
yeah, yeah,
Because what happens when the sun comes out? Boiling heat,
yes.
summer stench. Neath the black, the sky looks dead.
Yes. It is it's a little intense,
Yeah.
when you think about it, but it is really just kind of like I think a comment on a hot summer day, you know, because that's what it can feel like. It can feel like boiling heat. And then if you're in the right, or maybe you don't think it's the right place, but sometimes when it gets that hot, there can be a summer stench.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I mean, every state, I do believe, has what they call there's got to be a place where they take all the garbage to bury it. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It doesn't just disappear, it
Oh
goes to
yeah.
landfills. And
Oh
on a
yeah.
hot summer day, you can tell where the landfills are. You can tell where the farms are. You can tell where, those kind of things are because it
Yeah.
does get carried in the air. But what I
Oh
think
yeah.
is beautiful is just the fact that he's talking about how powerful the sun is
Oh
and
yeah.
how that light and that, you know, what the sun can do. And it's not just
Definitely.
hot, it's boiling
Yes.
hot. And then neath the black, the sky looks dead. I don't know if he's really referring to nighttime here. In other words, all of a suddenly everything just shuts down at night. Um, or when because there are stars out, but when that, dark, dark, dark clouds come in and they're so dark that there's black in them, the
Yeah.
sky does look dead, you know?
Yeah. That is a very good point that it can look like that, especially, you could think of it like looking like an angry storm, but actually it
Hmm.
does look like it's gone from completely blue and life and shiny and bright with the sun and maybe a
Yeah.
few clouds in the sky. And then it goes to that darkness and it can look like it's a dead sky. You are right. I agree. Oh my gosh. And to be to look into that maybe a little bit deeper. Having grown up in the Northwest, I don't know how many people from the Northwest in the Seattle area there are listening right now, but there were times when it could be kind of dreary up there and cloudy, not even rainy necessarily, but just a lot of like cloud cover. So you would have gray skies for a period of time, just kind of as that's the way the weather was some days. Some days it would be drizzly, some days rain, some days just gray. And so
Yeah.
I think if the mention of the sky looking dead, some days you can kind of feel like that if you have enough gray and dark days like that. If you want, because then when the sun comes out up there, boy, howdy, is it beautiful. And so I think that, that could be a little bit of something that has an even deeper kind of wrinkle to it. But then he goes on to say or sing, call my name through the cream and I'll hear you scream again. And that part just kind of makes me kind of look at it like, okay, you know, um, I feel like that's like a call out to somebody that's on the other side of something. And then, I'll hear you again. It's like a call and response kind of moment, but there's a wall in between. Call my name
Yeah.
through the cream.
Cream, I know it's thick, so
Yeah.
it's opaque. You can't really see through it. And call my name through the cream. In other words, he didn't say through the glass or through the water, something clear. He chose something very thick.
Yeah.
Um, there could be something literal there. I have no idea. But what I see is call my name. He is asking to be seen, you know, help
Yeah.
me
Yeah. Yeah.
find myself. Where am I? I've lost the
Yeah.
sky. It's dark. I'll hear you scream again.
Yeah. Like Marco Polo. Like somebody
Yeah.
says
Yeah.
Marco and then the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly kind of, thank you. Again, like I was kind of thinking and feeling that. I didn't know how to put it. But yeah, that's exactly what I was kind of thinking in that way.
Yeah.
Like not just, like in a way, hey, I'm over here kind of thing, but also like acknowledge me,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
And scream. I mean, not
Yeah.
just, I'll hear you scream again. So if you keep going, help me, keep helping me,
Yeah.
we'll get there.
Yeah. 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 And then, of course, the chorus, Black Hole Sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black Hole Sun, won't you come? And then I added the second one in there when I would say, won't you come? Because I feel
Hmm.
like he did that on the album. But,
Yeah. 3 times, I think. He
yeah,
repeats it like 3 times. Yeah. Won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come?
yeah,
So for this, Bruce, I everybody knows what a black hole is,
yeah,
right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
the definition we now know of a black hole is infinity. It is
Mhm.
something that, I mean, people are scared of it because they think if we get sucked into a black hole, we will disappear.
Right. Yeah.
But a black hole, thank you, Allison, it's an astronomical body so compact that its gravity prevents anything from escaping, even light. And so for a sun to be in a black hole, to me, I think that what he is saying is the light that's beyond our light. It's that infinite light of the Creator. I see him calling to God here, that within that black hole, which we think is nothingness, he has found a sun. And he's
I think,
asking for that light to come, that sun to come and wash away the rain. This is magnificent because isn't that what rain is? I mean, rain just washes everything away.
yes.
But most people, when they're in the rain, they get it's kind of like dreary and sadness, and you
Hmm.
can't go outside because you'll get sopping wet. People relate to rain as something sad, something depressing. And so for that black hole sun, that light beyond the light that's within the dark, it's what can wash away the rain, which I see as sadness, depressing, tears, whatever you want to call it. And so he keeps calling for that black hole sun. Won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come?
Yeah, no, that's what I just, when you were saying that, it just kind of clicked like a light switch. And I really feel that because, I love how you just mentioned that because now taking the next few lines, the stuttering, like stuttering, cold and damp, steal the warm wind, tired friend. And there's a part of this that it kind of makes me think of how a lot of kind of translations of people that we really look up to and how they handled adversity. So you
Mm,
could take like a name like a classic name, Jesus, and take, the story of Jesus and say, here is somebody that handled adversity. And in the end, the way they handled adversity was to look towards the black hole sun. And so I think of that when I listen to the words now with this next portion because of honestly about what you were saying, because, you know, stuttering, cold and damp, steal the warm wind, tired friend, kind of like a chattering and being cold, stuttering and shivering and cold and damp, and then steal the warm wind, tired friend, like here's an offer of warm wind. And times are gone for honest men, sometimes far too long for snakes. And I think that's that tie in back to where they were saying, you can
mhm,
have that there is the good and there is the bad in some people's minds. And so, here we have, kind of like the time is gone for some honest people, but, far too long for snakes in that same kind of reference. And then it keeps going in that way. But it just, it's like a kind of a reference, I think, to all of our experiences and like how we kind of look at how this kind of adversity is, and how we kind of see that. I really feel like there's a connection there.
yes, I agree. And I love the way because he's talking about stuttering, cold, and damp. Steal the warm wind, tired friend. In
Yeah.
other words, he's offering for his tired friend to get some of that warm wind to help him through the cold and damp, so he
Yeah.
can stop shuddering and stuttering. Times are gone for honest men. Yeah, you're right. And meaning, you work your tail off, for what? That's, he's kind of relying or relaying to that, saying,
Yeah.
honest men, what happened? Times are gone for honest men, sometimes far too long for snakes. Yeah. In my
Because then they get,
shoes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Donna, go
Walk
ahead.
in my shoes, walking sleep. In my youth, I pray to keep heaven send hell away. No one sings like you anymore. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure some of you out there, I would love to know how many of you. So Please respond. We would love that. There is a prayer that you're taught in as a child. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And I know that's what this is in reference to. I just do, right? I pray to
That,
keep. In my youth,
yeah,
he's saying, as a child, I would pray to the black hole sun, right?
yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. It now that we've started talking about it and we've kind of gone down the pathways that we did and we started tying things together. I can't tell you how much I'm grateful for listening to you talk about that, Donna, because I agree with you. In my youth, I pray to keep heaven send hell away. I really feel like that's, that definitely a reference to that, especially as it says, in my shoes, walking sleep,
Hmm.
because there are so many references of being in the shoes or walking in the same path when we think of the word that I'm looking for is an example. It's like an example of somebody else. And we think of examples of like people like Jesus or Buddha or whoever it might be, and the adversity that they faced walking in their shoes, or, well, both words are right there,
Hmm.
and having that moment of just, praying to heaven to send hell away, that moment of it, that adversity, and finding that kind of, well, finding the joy and the inspiration and the motivation to look to something else, to look to source, to look to another source of beauty, to ask for it to send whatever it is that might be that adversity away. And
Yeah.
no one sings like you anymore. It kind of almost seems like, yeah, no one sings like that sun anymore. Let's bring it back out because I'd love to hear it sing again, in some days when we are having that weather.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I love this because I know growing up the I was taught to put yourself in someone else's shoes. In other
Yeah.
words, before you start complaining about, something in your life or, what someone else is doing, put yourself in their shoes. Think about it for a moment. And then the walking sleep. Well, of course, sleepwalking, when you reference sleepwalking, most people don't remember what they did when they were
Yeah. Yeah.
sleepwalking. So I love this reference because he's talking about we are walking asleep. In other words, it's that, I'm for I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. People are waking up now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's asking us to wake up, you know, to not be in that, in my youth, I pray to keep. In other words, don't go through all the motions. Just, being the robot or being, you know, that sheep following everyone in my, try to put yourself in others' shoes and wake up. Wake
Wake
up.
up, either take the red pill or the blue pill, but you got to choose.
Yeah. No one sings like you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And
again,
so,
they go through that the chorus.
yeah,
Yeah.
he calls in the black hole sun.
Yeah. And it just, it's like a mantra, like a prayer that he says, when he starts to sing that. And at the very end, towards the end of the song, hang my head, drown my fear till you all just disappear. And
Yeah.
that's curious to me because, and a lot of times when people bow their heads and then they feel like their fear is, for whom should I or for what should I fear? Until it all just kind of fades away and goes away, disappears because there's no more fear. I mean, it can sound kind of, in a way, it's like it can sound dark, but I mean, it suddenly seems a lot more positive than I used to think.
Yeah. Well, I think he's asking for the black hole sun. And
Yeah.
when that black hole sun, like I said, comes through, It's light beyond the light. It's the light that's in that total, total, total darkness of nothingness and
Yeah.
infinite nothingness. And so he hangs his head, which to me is a little bit different than bowing the head, because for me,
Mm,
bowing is in respect and, honor, and hanging head to me is in a little bit of shame. In other words, I've been the one indisposed. I've been the one wearing disguises. I've been the one that's been hiding my face. And
mm,
he's realizing
yeah.
it in this moment
Yeah.
because of the light coming in. And he's asking for that light to drown his fear of looking within, of seeing all that darkness that is within, that he has created, and till you all just disappear. And for me, that is all the faces of him, all those disguises he's worn, all those snakes in the grass he's been, all that, all that darkness.
That's amazing, Donna. Yeah, that is amazing. I'm really glad that you made that distinction and the hang my head, because I was trying to put it more into the second phrase when I thought of hang my head, and then drown my fear. I thought of it more as a, like as a prayer, and then taking the
Yeah.
fear away. But I agree with, if it was bowing, then that would be out of respect. You are absolutely right, I think. And oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Till all of those things, all of those skeletons in the closet, if you will, until
Yeah.
all of that disappears. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, encouraging the black hole sun, um, or invoking the black hole sun again at the very end with the chorus again.
And he keeps
Wow.
asking for it to come. Won't you come?
Yeah.
Won't you come? Won't you come? And it's also him letting go of all of that society pressure,
Yeah. Like peer
I
pressure
guess. Yeah. Yeah. All of, to be like everyone else, to live in a world that is fake, that is not authentic.
to be something that he is expected to be rather than to be who he really is, or
Yeah.
who you or somebody is. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Wow.
He wants to just make it all disappear and be real.
Be real instead of walking like in a way, the way he describes it, it's like walking sleep, walking zombies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
and in case anybody's wondering, I did have a brief thought that when he was talking about snakes, that maybe he's referring to the reptilians, but I chose to wait till we got to the end of the song, because
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I truly feel like that applies here anymore. I think that we have finally gotten to, and thank you, Donna. That was a beautiful, beautiful way of translating some of these things that you did today. And I really am grateful for being able to do this with you.
Yeah, it was fun. I don't know exactly what he meant when he wrote the song. I mean, it could have been a total just, being cheeky about
Being,
society because I
yeah, being creative.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. But this is yeah, this was beautiful. I'm glad I did
This
this. I've
is
never heard
me
this
too.
song, so I can't wait for it to pop on the playlist.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
excited. Just, yeah. That will be a fun time. I
Yes.
promise you.
Yep. And we are so happy for Soundgarden and their
Yes.
achievements
Yes.
and induction into the Hall of Fame. Yep. And we appreciate each and every one of you too. Thank you so, so much for being here. We love your comments. We love your requests. And we just love your listens. Thank
We
you.
do.
Thank you for sharing your time with us here on
Lyrical
Wisdom.